There's something fascinating about stories like this. Because when you look at where somebody ends up, millions of dollars in sales, pallets of inventory, it feels impossible. Like there must have been some grand plan from the beginning. But usually, there wasn't. Usually, it starts with something small, a random moment, a weird little observation, a tiny little experiment that most people would never take seriously. And in this case, it started with a broken cell phone. He grew up in South Florida. He was raised by a single mom who worked at Denny's. And by 18 years old, he was a father himself. No money, no direction, 2008 recession. Then, one day, his cell phone breaks. And he goes online trying to replace it. That's it. That's the moment. Not a motivational seminar, not a business course, not some follow your passion speech, just a broken phone. And while looking for another one, he notices something. Phones were selling for different prices in different places. One on Craigslist was selling for $35. Meanwhile, on eBay, the same phone was selling for $70. Most people stop there. They notice the opportunity and move on. But every once in a while, someone tries it. So he buys the phone, he lists it on eBay, and it sells the same day. And I think this is the part of the story that most people underestimate. The first proof, not the millions, not the success, just that tiny moment where reality shifts just a little bit. And you realize, oh, this actually works. Because after that, he couldn't stop seeing opportunities everywhere. Electronics, shoes, hats, vintage clothing, little undervalued treasures hidden in plain sight. And eventually, that led him to flea markets. While most people were asleep, he was out there looking through piles of stuff that most people would have ignored. Old jackets, used sneakers, designer scarves, things that looked ordinary, unless you knew what you were looking at. And honestly, watching footage of these flea markets looks less like shopping and more like treasure hunting. Everybody out there has their own niche. One guy sells golf clubs, and another one buys abandoned warehouses, and another flips Amazon return pallets. It's almost as if this hidden economy exists under normal life. And most people don't even notice it. But what really stood out for me wasn't the money. It was the repetition, the consistency. For almost 20 years, he just kept doing it every day, over and over again. And slowly the business evolves from selling single items to selling pallets, thousands of items in inventory, eventually becoming one of eBay's largest sellers in pre-owned clothing. Last year, he says that the business brought in $6.5 million. But honestly, I don't even think that's the interesting part, because the real story isn't about the clothing or eBay or the flea markets. It's about how dramatically life can change when you follow one opportunity seriously enough. And I think that's why stories like this resonate with so many people, because deep down, a lot of people feel stuck, trapped in systems that don't really feel stable anymore, and jobs that don't feel secure, dreams that feel financially impossible. And then someone comes around making millions from used clothing, not because they were special and not because they had connections or because they had startup money, but because one day, instead of scrolling past an opportunity, they tested it. And maybe that's the lesson in all of this. Not that everyone should go out and sell jackets on eBay, but that sometimes an entirely different life starts with something as simple as, wait a second, what if I tried this? And one thing that I really appreciated about Rick is that he doesn't hide the process. A lot of people build businesses quietly behind closed doors, but he openly shares what he's learned. The mistakes, the strategies, the flea market finds. And if stories like this make you curious about reselling, we'll leave a few beginner resources below. Some of the tools that people use, along with Rick's channel and the full CNBC piece, so you can explore the world for yourself. If you like stories like this, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.